एवं जनं निपतितं प्रणवाहि कूपे कामाभिकाम अनुयः प्रपतन् प्रसङ्गा कृत्वात्मसात् सुरशीन भगवन् गृहीतम् सोऽहं कथं न वृसजे तव भृत्यसेवम् एवं जलं निपतितं प्रभवाहि कूपे कामाभिकामानुयः प्रपतन् प्रसङ्गा कृत्वात्मसात् सुरशीन भगवन् गृहीतः सोऽहं कथं न विसजे तव भृत्यसेवम् My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narada Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? Purport. As will be seen in the later verses, even though Prahlad Maharaj was directly offered all the benedictions he might have desired, he refused to accept such offerings from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the contrary, he asked the Lord to engage him in the service of his servant Narada Muni. This is the symptom of a pure devotee. One should serve the spiritual master first. It is not that one should bypass the spiritual master and desire to serve the Supreme Lord. This is not the principle of a Vaishnava. Narottam Das Thakur says, Gambhira charana sevi bhakta sanivas janame janame haya yehi abhilash. One should not be anxious to offer direct service to the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised that one become a servant of the servant of the Lord. Gopi bharatur padakamalayur dasa dasa dasa. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord. The first service should be rendered to the spiritual master so that by his mercy one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to render service. While teaching Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Guru Krishna Prasadin Vaya Bhakti Lata Bij. One can achieve the seed of devotional service by the mercy of the Guru, the spiritual master, and then by the mercy of Krishna. This is the secret of success. First, one should try to please the spiritual master, and then one should attempt to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says, Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada. One should not attempt to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by concoction. One must first be prepared to serve the spiritual master, and when one is qualified, he is automatically offered the platform of direct service to the Lord. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj proposed that he engage in the service of Narada Muni. He never proposed that he engage directly in the service of the Lord. This is the right conclusion. Therefore he said, Soham katham navrasaje tava vrityasya. How can I give up the service of my spiritual master who has favored me in such a way that I am now able to see you face by face, face to face? Prahlad Maharaj prayed to the Lord that he might continue to engage in the service of his spiritual master, Narada Muni. Srila Prahlad Maharaj's life is testimony to the fact that the instructions of the spiritual master are the most important and the topmost most important foundation of one's life, or the topmost goal of one's life. Srila Prahlad Maharaj's life is testimony to the fact that a devotee should be made up of the instructions of the spiritual master. A devotee should be made up of the instructions of the spiritual master. That nothing else is of any meaning, any value, other than the instructions of the spiritual master. Srila Prahlad Maharaj got the association of Srila Narada Muni even before he had landed up or he got exposed to the material world. So he got the instructions and the association of Srila Narada Muni primarily when he was in the womb of his mother Kayadu. And this is very instructive. So Prahlad Maharaj is demonstrating that he did not take in any of the inputs, signals, paradigms, philosophies of this material world. He interfaced the world through and only through the instructions of his spiritual master. And this is what the entire life of Prahlad Maharaj demonstrates. Prahlad Maharaj refused to take any inputs other than what his spiritual master had given. He refused to take in any knowledge other than what his spiritual master had given. So we see that Sri Prahlad Maharaj when Hiranyakashipu tried his best to train Prahlad Maharaj as per the culture in those times, with all kind of sophisticated and complicated demoniac traits, Prahlad Maharaj refused to take in anything. So he did not take the lessons of economics, he did not take the lessons of politics, as it is explained in Bhagavatam, because I did not want to see living entities with that kind of classification. His vision classification is coming from Sridhar Narada Muni. He did not want to see the living entities as friends, as enemies. Somebody who favors, who helps is a friend, somebody who does not favor is an enemy. He did not want to see. So his vision was, so he refused to adopt the vision, which was the culture of the world, which is still the culture of the world today as well. He did not want to see like that. His classification vision was given by Narada Muni. That is the vision of compassion. So he wanted to see every living entity as part and parcel of God. And that is Prahlad Maharaj. His vision is that of compassion. And that is why Prahlad Maharaj is praying that please take all the living entities of this universe back to God. And that is the reason he was even praying for his father. Okay, one such living entity is my demoniac father. Please be merciful on him also, though he can get purified. And he's praying for every living entity in this material world. Prahlad Maharaj's pertinent worry about all the living entities in this world. And Prahlad Maharaj is saying that I am not fearful of this material world because I am able to remember you, O Lord. But I am very worried, I am in anxiety about these people who are chasing after Maya. This vision where from he has got? This vision he got from Srila Narada Muni. This vision he got from Srila Narada Muni. Prahlad Maharaj and that's what Prahlad Maharaj is speaking in this verse today. That yes, what is that kind of vision which Narada Muni has? That Narada Muni saw me in that demoniac life. And if my spiritual master had not intervened, then my life would have been filled with all kinds of these material desires. And that is explaining that that's just like fallen in a dark well full of snakes. We have been wishing my spiritual master pick me up. This is Narada Muni's vision of compassion. And Prahlad Maharaj adopted that vision of compassion. Therefore, he denied to see every living entity in any other way other than part and parcel of God. He denied to deal with any living entity in any other way other than service. Other than to serve them, to grow closer to Krishna. And this is the reason Narada Muni was preaching even to his father. Because he saw his father also as part and parcel of Krishna. So he thought, oh, this is Sanjeevani what I have, let me share with my father. And therefore Narada Muni is saying, so he's telling his father, that people like you are suffering hellish conditions of life just because of your materialistic outlook. There can be no fortune and auspicious in your life. Therefore, what you should do is give up your household life, go to the forest and search for Krishna. Smear the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees on your body. Then you have some hope, you have some scope. He's telling, oh best of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, you smear your body with the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Then you have some hope and scope. Otherwise there is no hope, no scope. So we see that this is so this is called as commitment to the this is called as commitment to the vision which Narada Muni gave him. So in this way, Srila Prahlad Maharaj is revealing to us that a devotee should be made up of the instructions of his spiritual master. there is nothing else of any priority. There is nothing else of any value. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport here that service to Krishna is not rendered directly. Directly there is no possibility to reach the Supreme Lord also. But the point is that an attempt to directly serve Krishna cannot sustain with time. We are bombarded with illusion, hallucinations, bewilderment at every moment. So if one thinks that I can directly offer my service to Krishna, how is it possible? Because one will be completely bewildered by Maya Shakti. One's own thought process, one's own decisions, we will be completely bewildered. And therefore, it is impossible to reach out to Krishna directly. That is the reason we see Srila Prabhupada established temples. Because when we are at our home, it is very difficult to connect to Krishna. In individual homes, Krishna conscious practice is very difficult. Only if there is connection to the temple and life is centered around the temple, one can get that association, that strength to continue Krishna consciousness. That is why Srila Prabhupada established temples. And therefore Srila Prabhupada established that our life should be centered around the temple, in the temple or around the temple. Because that is where we can get that strength. Directly to serve Krishna is very difficult. So when we directly go towards Krishna, then we are actually going farther from Krishna. Yesterday we were hearing Sri Prahlad Maharaj was explaining that many times devotees have a tendency to roam around in Vrindavan, in the groves of Vrindavan, in the kunjas, in the the kundas, in the kunjas of Vrindavan, under the Vamshivart and Radha Kund and Sham Kund, Lalita Kund and so on. And Maharaj was explaining that by such endeavors, Maharaj was telling, they cannot reach Vrindavan like this. Even if one spends 12 months a year, year after year in Vrindavan, one is not in Vrindavan. Maharaj said the way to reach Vrindavan is to sit at the lotus feet of the spiritual master and serve. To sit at the lotus feet of the spiritual master and serve. That is the only way by which one can reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we try to go near to Krishna, we are actually going farther from Krishna. When we try to go near to Krishna directly, then we are going farther from Krishna. That is the point. And therefore, we need devotees, we need guidance, we need the instructions of the spiritual master. Because it is only by following the instructions of the spiritual master one can go near to Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj was quoting Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said once, that one of the major causes of that why in Christianity the spiritual fervor could not went down or could not be sustained. Srila Prabhupada said, because the reason is that people are trying to dig for inspiration and practical demonstration and understanding in the words of Jesus, who came 2000 years before. And therefore, and there is no parampara. And there is no parampara. And because there is no parampara, there is no practical demonstration. So it is the spiritual master who actually brings the instructions of the Lord live. Prahlad Maharaj said, we cannot understand book Bhagavad. Book Bhagavad cannot be understood. We can only understand person Bhagavad. And book Bhagavad can only be understood through person Bhagavad. Otherwise, book Bhagavad on one's own cannot be understood. You can only understand person Bhagavad. And through person Bhagavad, one can understand or one can approach the book Bhagavad. So therefore, Srila Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us that there is nothing else which is of any value in this world other than the service of the spiritual master. And Prahlad Maharaj is not speaking something sentimentally. Many times Prahlad Maharaj proves what he is speaking. In his prayers, Prahlad Maharaj says, "Oh Lord, I am completely surrendered unto you." And then he says, "Oh Lord, don't think I am a sentimentalist, but I have got some sentimental affection for you." He said, "I can prove." He said, "I have seen my father. My father was so powerful. Just by the movement of his eyebrows, Indra, Chandra, Surya, everybody would start trembling. And they would run up and down. Just by the movement of his eyebrows, temperature would change. Different fruits would start coming. Whatever he wanted would happen. He could make the demigod dance with the movement of his eyebrows. That was his power." And he said, "Oh Lord, you killed him like a mosquito. That is your power. I have seen that. Therefore I am surrendered. Not sentimental." And here also Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us on the basis of proof. What is the proof? So because Prahlad Maharaj had this attitude that Srila Prahlad Maharaj is so much surrendered to the Supreme Personality of God, is so much surrendered to the instructions of the spiritual master. He's completely made up the instructions of the spiritual master. And he is not wanting any dilution, so he did not want anything to creep in other than the instructions of the spiritual master. And because Prahlad Maharaj did that, you see, and Prahlad Maharaj had that commitment, Srila Prahlad Maharaj is standing in front of Lord Nrsimhadev, face to face. What brought him face to face in front of Lord Nrsimhadev? Prahlad Maharaj is demonstrating this is the proof. One who follows the instructions of the spiritual master, face to face one comes in front of the Supreme Lord. Face to face. That is the proof. Because Prahlad Maharaj followed the instructions of the spiritual master, none of the atrocities of Hiranyakashipu could work. What was the kavach? The instructions. Prahlad Maharaj always felt the sanidhya of the Supreme Lord. And to our mortal eyes, that is testified by this episode where Lord Nrsimhadev is personally picking up Prahlad Maharaj and making Prahlad Maharaj sit on his lap and licking the body of Prahlad Maharaj after giving him blessings with his hand, putting his hand on his head. So that is a recorded testimony of that yes, Prahlad Maharaj was in communion with the Lord, but Prahlad Maharaj was in communion with the Lord all through the atrocities of Hiranyakashipu, because he was following the instructions of the spiritual master. So through the instructions of the spiritual master, he was always in sanidhya of the Supreme Lord. And therefore we see, because Prahlad Maharaj saw Krishna everywhere, therefore Prahlad Maharaj was not fearful of any situation. That is the science of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhayam Dvitiya Abhiniveshata Syad is the science of Srimad Bhagavatam. That fear comes because of forgetfulness of Krishna, and because Prahlad Maharaj was remembering Krishna, there was no fearfulness. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, there was no fearfulness. Therefore, in any situation of atrocity, Prahlad Maharaj did not even explicitly ask the Supreme Lord for protection. He never explicitly asked the Supreme Lord for protection, because the Supreme Lord, he was there, he was able to see Krishna everywhere. And recorded testimony of that is the Lord giving Prahlad Maharaj audience, and the Lord showering his most special and unique mercy on Prahlad Maharaj in such a manifested way. Mercy has been already there, but recorded manifestation. So this is the point. That Prahlad Maharaj who never asked for protection, that Prahlad Maharaj who never asked for some peace, for some favorable atmosphere, that Prahlad Maharaj is asking for service to Guru. That Prahlad Maharaj is asking for service to Guru. Because Srila Prahlad Maharaj knows that if he latches and catches on to the service to Guru, then he is not latching, then actually he is latching and catching to his intimate connection with the Supreme Lord. As long as there is service, active service to the spiritual master, as long as there is active service to the spiritual master, there is connectivity to the Supreme Lord. There is the presence of the Supreme Lord. There is the Sanidhya of the Supreme Lord. And that is the point. That the connectivity to the Supreme Lord is through service to the spiritual master. And that is why a pure devotee never stops or never slows down his service to the spiritual master. That's why a pure devotee never stops and never slows down the service to the spiritual master. Because a devotee, his point is, how can I give up service to my spiritual master? That's the same thing Prahlad Maharaj is telling the Supreme Lord. How can I give up the service to my spiritual master? You are speaking about benedictions, Lord. I cannot think of any other benediction other than service to my spiritual master. I just cannot think of anything other than the service to spiritual master. This is hallmark of a pure devotee. Because the pure devotees understand that only through the service to the spiritual master I can have any connection with the Supreme Lord. That one can have that Sanidhya of the Supreme Lord. There is a reason a pure devotee never slows down. Just like His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj never slowed down. He never slowed down. Everyone was telling. His body was not cooperating, his old body. But Maharaj did not slow down. Why? It's the same mood. How can I give up service to my spiritual master? And therefore Maharaj never slowed down. Maharaj was having heart problems since so many decades. 29 years Maharaj was having heart problem. And a heart patient should not have such an active life with so much of anxiety, with so much of medical science says that a heart patient should just relax. No tensions, no pressures, no responsibilities. 29 years Maharaj was dragging with this heart problem. 29 years. We never slowed down. This is a pure devotee. Never slows down. He never slows down. Why he never slows down? This is Buddhist. The mood of a pure devotee is being highlighted by Prahlad Maharaj. How can I give up service to my spiritual master? And therefore Prahlad Maharaj was not ready to compromise. Hiranyakashipu would have become satisfied with a little bit of compromise. But Prahlad Maharaj was not ready to compromise. If Prahlad Maharaj would have agreed, okay, I'll study economics, I'll write the exam, okay, I'll not give classes on Krishna consciousness, okay, that's fine, for some years I'll be, But he never wanted to slow down. A devotee cannot slow down. How can I give up service to my spiritual master? Therefore Maharaj never slowed down. Shrutakirti Prabhu, Panchagauda Prabhu were requesting Maharaj some months back to just settle in Vrindavan and be relaxed. Maharaj just smiled. And they were explaining how Gopal Krishna Maharaj used to visit Vrindavan every 1 month or 2 months. Toward the last phase of his life, 6 months, he never went to Vrindavan. Because Maharaj knew he has less time. So Maharaj wanted to serve more and more and more. So Maharaj wanted to serve more and more and more. The other day we were hearing that so he wanted to die as a warrior. Why he wanted to die as a warrior? Why he wanted to die as a warrior? Because the same mood, how can I give up service to my spiritual master? Till the last breath, till the last iota of energy, till the last moment, there should be service. And that is why a devotee wants to die on the battlefield. So therefore a devotee doesn't stop. Bhaktcharu Maharaj did not stop. He could have peacefully sat in Ujjain and giving classes from Ujjain. But Maharaj wanted to demonstrate that fact. That a devotee's life is made up of service to the spiritual master, and therefore Maharaj was making the point, Bhaktcharu Maharaj was making the point that in his last Bhagavatam class in Ujjain, that how can I just sit back? Prabhupada has not taught us to just sit back and relax. So he said, how can I just sit back? How can I just sit back? How can I sit back? Maharaj is making the point that devotees are struggling there in America. How can I sit back and relax here in Ujjain? Prabhupada has taught us to be a warrior. Prabhupada has taught us to always serve at the war front. And therefore Maharaj, even at the time of COVID, he went to United States to serve, to preach. So he felt that now in Maharaj's offerings to Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja, Maharaj has been talking. We can see many years Maharaj has been mentioning in his Vyas Puja offerings multiple times that his whatever services Prabhupada gave him are over. And this was the final project which he was actually and this was extra. This was his extra offering, additional offering. Whatever services Prabhupada gave him was over. He did it. He translated each and every book of Srila Prabhupada in Bengali. He brought about Abhecharan series. He brought about. He taught us he taught us this dedication to. He taught us this dedication to the commitment to Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's unique position. Now to be faithful and loyal to Prabhupada. He taught us Vaishnava etiquettes. He taught us such a vivid example of Vaishnava etiquettes, Bhakti Maharaj. He did so much for preaching in Mayapur, in Bengal, in Calcutta. Bhakti Maharaj's heart was Calcutta. He did so much for Calcutta. And he was so enthusiastic. Bhakti Maharaj's enthusiasm, so enthusiastic. And so he did all services Prabhupada gave him, he was mentioning. Now he was doing this extra service. For Bhakti Charu Maharaj, this extra service was all in all. And he was seeing this service, he did not see COVID. And he said, life or no life, service is the topmost. That is the point. That is the point. So, this is where we understand where Bhakti Maharaj is showing. In the same way, Gopal Krishna Maharaj was opening a temple. He was opening the temple in his last moments. That is what he was doing in Dehradun. The other day we were hearing Srila Prabhupada's then that point was there that you see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj was sharing that point. That he was in very bad health, everybody was understanding that Maharaj will not remain in this material world for long. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj was there in Jagannath Puri when his health was very bad. And for a good long time he was in Jagannath Puri. And then he came to Calcutta. Last month of his life he came to Calcutta. In December he was in Jagannath Puri, And towards the end of December he came to Calcutta. January 5 he left. 1936, I think, 35, 36, 37, 36, January 37, 37, 36, December 36, January 37, I think so. 36, Jan 36, Jan 36, you can check it out. 1936. So Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Maharaj came to Calcutta in the last month of his life. And many devotees were asking him, Maharaj, it seems that you have less time. We can take you to Mayapur, Vrindavan, anywhere. You can leave your body there. He denied. He said, no. My Vrindavan is the place where I am serving Krishna. So he said, this is Vrindavan for me. My service bhumi, that I have service to my spiritual master. I have this, my service bhumi. The service bhumi. So he denied going to Mayapur and Vrindavan to establish that we cannot go to Mayapur and Vrindavan by going to Mayapur and Vrindavan, but we go to Mayapur and Vrindavan by serving our spiritual master. That is the point. And in the same spirit, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami had denied going to Vrindavan and Mayapur. He could have very easily come to Mayapur and Vrindavan. Very easily could have come to Mayapur and Vrindavan. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj denied. He said no. He said, I want to prove that every Prabhupada temple in the world is Mayapur and Vrindavan. So Maharaj left from Gita Nagari, East Coast, United States. So Maharaj wanted to prove. He said, I want to prove that every Prabhupada temple, ISKCON temple, is Mayapur and Vrindavan. And if we simply serve in Srila Prabhupada temple, in this mission of Srila Prabhupada, we actually get entrance in the spiritual world. And Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj proved it by going back to garage from Gita Nagari to God consciousness. So many proper disciples did mention that His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj was made up of Srila Prabhupada's instructions. He had nothing else in his life other than Prabhupada's words and Prabhupada's instructions. And this is the hallmark. And this is what is called as devotional service. That when one has that commitment, that dedication to the word of the spiritual master, when one has that absorption that one is only hearing the instructions of the spiritual master and nothing else, when one has that absorption, when one has that attitude of servitude towards the association of devotees, that is the secret of success in spiritual life. And the same thing, Sri Prahlad Maharaj, and the same mood Sri Prahlad Maharaj is revealing here. Sri Prahlad Maharaj is saying that I was falling in this blind well full of snakes. Material life is like that blind well full of snakes. A deep, dark, blind well with snakes all around. He said it is only the instruction of the spiritual master which can uplift us. To what level? To such a level that one can have face-to-face audience with the Supreme. So that is why on this very auspicious day of Lord Narasimhadev's appearance, in the same spirit of Prahlad Maharaj praying for service to the spiritual master, we should also pray to Lord Narasimhadev for that strength that we make the instructions of the spiritual master as our only priority in life. In the same spirit, we make the instructions of the spiritual master as our only priority in life. And we uphold those very instructions. Of the spiritual master. Top of our head throughout our life after life. And no other dilution, no other contamination creeps them. So we should pray hurriedly to Lord Narasimhadev for that strength to uphold the instructions of the spiritual master, to make those instructions the topmost, the only priority of our lives, life after life. And we pray that the Lord protect us from any infection, contamination, bewilderment, deviation, dilution, disintegration, dissension. So let's end by again reading the translation of Sri Prahlad Maharaj's prayer. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narada Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? श्री नरसिम्हा चतुर्दशी महामहोत्सव की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की। श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की।